Ollie walked along the quiet beach before sunrise, as he always did, with a net on one shoulder and a small bucket in his hand. The sea air felt cold, and the sand was firm from the night tide. He liked these early hours because the world was silent and the water often left surprises behind. He expected shells, driftwood, or maybe a trapped fish in a shallow pool. He did not expect a hatch. Near a line of seaweed and smooth stones, something dark and round sat half buried in the sand. At first, Ollie thought it was the top of an old barrel or a broken boat part. He stepped closer and noticed it looked too clean and too heavy to be junk. The surface was metal, not wood, and it had a strange pattern like a thick lid. Ollie bent down and brushed sand away with his fingers. The hatch had a rim and a set of bolts that looked new, like they were meant to be opened and closed many times. A small symbol was stamped near the edge, but Ollie could not understand it. The metal felt cold and solid under his palm, and it did not move even when he pressed hard. He looked around the beach, expecting to see footprints, tire marks, or a boat nearby. There was nothing, only the weak light of dawn and the calm waves. Ollie tried to lift it by sliding his fingers under the rim, but there was no gap at all. He used a piece of driftwood as a lever, careful not to damage it. The wood snapped with a sharp crack, and Ollie stepped back, annoyed and confused. He had pulled heavy nets full of fish, and this hatch still felt heavier than anything he handled at sea. That was when he noticed a small seam, thin as a line, running across the top. He followed the seam with his eyes, and it formed a shape like a door within a door. There was also a hidden handle, flat against the surface, almost invisible until he wiped more sand away. Ollie's heart beat faster, not from fear, but from that curious feeling that something important was nearby. He knew the beach well, and this thing was not here yesterday. The tide could bring many items, but it rarely brought something built like this. Ollie looked out to sea, and the water seemed normal, but he felt like someone might be watching from far away. He hated that thought, yet he could not stop himself from reaching for the handle. He pulled it up, and it clicked into place with a quiet sound. The hatch did not open, but the click told him the handle was real and the lock was real too. Ollie swallowed and tried again, pulling harder. A second click answered, and the hatch loosened just a little, as if it had been stuck by sand pressure. Ollie shifted his stance and pulled steadily, using his legs more than his arms. The metal door lifted with a low scrape, and a smell of cold air rose from inside, like a deep cellar near the ocean. He held the hatch open and leaned forward, squinting into the darkness. He expected water inside, but he saw a dry space, and that made his skin prickle. Inside was a narrow chamber, lined with black panels and thick seals. A small light blinked slowly, like a calm heartbeat, and it gave off a faint glow. Ollie could see a ladder leading down, and the steps were clean, not rusty, not covered in algae. This was not an old wreck, and it was not a simple storage box. It looked like something made to stay hidden and protected from seawater. Ollie's mind rushed through questions he did not know how to answer. He stood up and looked around again, listening for any engine sound or footsteps on sand. The beach stayed quiet, and even the birds seemed far away. Ollie thought about walking away and calling the local police first, but something told him this was bigger than a normal lost item. He had seen police handle simple cases before, and he could guess how they might treat him if he touched it. Still, he had already opened the hatch, and he needed to decide what to do next. Ollie took a small flashlight from his fishing bag, the kind he used for tying knots in low light. He clicked it on and aimed it into the chamber, careful not to step in. The beam showed a small platform at the bottom of the ladder, and on that platform sat a hard case, gray and sealed. Next to the case were two thick folders wrapped in plastic, and a phone-like device with a dark screen. Everything was placed neatly, like someone packed it with purpose. Ollie's mouth went dry, and he felt a mix of excitement and worry. He had found lost wallets and even a safe once, but those things looked careless and broken. This looked arranged, almost waiting for someone to return. He tried to read the label on the case, but the letters were small and partly covered by a strip of tape. The folders had no clear title, only numbers written in a clean, careful hand. He could not tell if this was science, business, or something else. Ollie reached down a little and picked up one folder by the edge, keeping his body outside the hatch. The plastic was thick and sealed tight, and the folder inside felt dry. He could see printed pages and small photos, but he did not open it. A bold header on the first page caught his eye, and it said, "Do not copy or share." Under it were lines of text and a row of codes. Ollie stared at the words and felt his stomach tighten. He placed the folder back gently, as if it might explode from anger if handled wrong. He was not thinking about danger like fire or harm, but about the danger of getting pulled into something serious. Ollie had a simple life, and he liked it that way. He worked hard, paid his bills, and stayed out of trouble. Now trouble was sitting inside a secret hatch, blinking softly like it belonged here. Ollie picked up the phone-like device and turned it over in his hands. It was heavier than a normal phone and had a small slot on one side, sealed with rubber. There was no brand name, no normal buttons, and no camera. When he pressed a side button, the screen lit up for a second, showing a short message. It read, "Signal ready," and then it locked itself again. Ollie froze, feeling like he had just touched a doorbell in the dark. He set the device down at once and backed away from the hatch. His mind told him to close it and leave, but another part of him knew he should not pretend he never saw it. If someone came back for it and found signs of his hands, they might look for him. If he reported it, at least there would be a record of what he found and when he found it. Ollie pulled out his own phone and started to dial the local police station, but he stopped. The words, "Do not copy or share," echoed in his head, and the strange device message felt like a warning. He remembered an old news story about hidden equipment found near the coast and how it became a federal matter. Ollie did not understand big agencies, but he understood one thing. Some problems should be handed to people trained to handle them. Ollie sat on a rock and tried to calm his breathing. He stared at the open hatch like it might close itself or swallow the sand around it. He forced himself to think clearly, step by step, like he did when the sea got rough. First, he needed proof that he did not make this and did not take anything. Second, he needed to report it to the right place. Third, he needed to stay safe and keep others away. Ollie took photos from a distance, showing the hatch, the ladder, and the items inside without touching them again. He made sure the beach area was visible, including a few landmarks like a bent palm tree and a tall rock. Then he closed the hatch carefully, lowering it until it rested in place. It clicked again, sealing shut, and that sound made him feel both relieved and nervous. The hatch now looked like a simple metal disc, but Ollie knew what was beneath. He walked quickly toward the nearest road, not running, but moving with purpose. His hands still smelled like metal and salt, and he kept wiping them on his pants. He considered calling a friend, but he did not want to spread the news. If this was secret, gossip could create chaos. Ollie decided to call a federal tip line he once saw on a public poster in town, the one meant for serious fines and safety concerns. When someone answered, Ollie spoke slowly and clearly, giving his name and location without adding dramatic guesses. He explained that he was a fisherman and that he found a hidden hatch on the beach with sealed items inside. He said the objects looked official and unusual, and he did not open any folders or take anything. The voice on the line asked him to repeat the location and to stay nearby but at a safe distance. Then the person said a phrase that made Ollie's chest tighten. They told him, "Do not discuss this with anyone, and please wait for federal agents." Ollie ended the call and stood still for a moment, watching cars pass in the distance. The morning sun had fully risen now, and the beach behind him looked normal again, almost peaceful. But Ollie knew that under that calm sand sat something planned, something hidden, and something that did not belong to a fisherman's world. He looked back toward the shoreline, and he felt the day had already changed. Then he heard a faint sound far away, like engines approaching, and he realized this was only the beginning. Ollie waited near the road as instructed, keeping enough distance so the beach stayed in his sight. The sound he heard earlier grew louder, turning into the steady hum of vehicles. 2 dark cars appeared first, followed by a larger van that slowed near the sand path. None of them had loud markings, yet their movement felt organized and calm. Ollie stood still, reminding himself he had done the right thing. 3 people stepped out, dressed simply, wearing jackets that matched the early morning chill. One man walked toward Ollie with an easy pace, his hands visible and his face relaxed. He introduced himself as Sam and showed a small badge quickly. Sam's voice was steady, and he asked Ollie to explain everything again from the start. Ollie nodded and began to speak, choosing his words carefully. Ollie described his routine, the tide, and the moment he noticed the metal shape in the sand. He explained how new it looked and how the hatch opened to reveal the chamber below. Sam listened without interrupting, while another agent took notes nearby. A third person scanned the area with careful eyes, paying attention to the ground and the waterline. No one rushed Ollie, and that helped him stay calm. When Ollie finished, Sam asked a few clear questions about what Ollie touched and what he left alone. Ollie explained that he used a flashlight and briefly picked up one folder and the device. He added that he took photos but closed the hatch afterward. Sam nodded, writing something down, and thanked Ollie for being careful. He then asked Ollie to stay back while they checked the site. The agents walked toward the beach, moving in a pattern that showed training. They stopped often, looking at the sand, the seaweed, and the rocks. One agent placed small markers near faint impressions Ollie had not noticed before. Another used a handheld device that made soft sounds as it scanned the ground. Ollie watched from afar, feeling like a guest in his own town. The hatch. The agents worked quietly, brushing sand away with tools instead of hands. They examined the bolts, the seam, and the symbol on the metal surface. Sam spoke into a small radio, giving short updates in a coded tone. After a moment, they opened the hatch slowly, just as Ollie had done earlier. The metal door revealed the hidden chamber again. This time, stronger lights filled the space, and the blinking glow was drowned out by bright beams. One agent climbed down the ladder while another stood guard above. The agent below inspected the platform and the items without touching them at first. He spoke calmly, describing what he saw so it could be recorded. Ollie felt a strange relief knowing he was not alone with this secret anymore. The agent below carefully lifted the hard case and examined its seals. He pointed out small details, like serial numbers and tiny marks, that meant nothing to Ollie. The folders were placed into protective bags, and the device was secured in a special container. Every move looked planned and precise, as if they had handled similar finds before. That thought made Ollie uneasy and curious at the same time. Sam returned to Ollie and explained that they needed to secure the area for a while. He asked Ollie to answer a few more questions and then possibly give a short written statement later. Ollie agreed, though his mind felt tired from the tension. Sam told him that what he found could be connected to a larger operation. He did not explain more, only saying that Ali's safety mattered. Ollie asked if he was in any trouble, and Sam shook his head gently. Sam said Ollie did exactly what he should have done by reporting it quickly. He also reminded Ollie not to talk about it with anyone for now. Ollie promised, though he knew it would be hard to keep quiet in a small town. Sam assured him that they would handle things carefully. As the agents worked, another vehicle arrived carrying more equipment. A small tent was set up near the hatch, blocking it from view. People passing by slowed down, curious about the activity. One agent politely redirected them, saying maintenance work was being done. The beach slowly emptied, and the sound of waves became clear again. Ollie was asked to sit in one of the cars while they finished securing the site. Inside, the car was clean and quiet, smelling faintly of fabric and coffee. An agent offered Ollie water, which he accepted with a nod. He drank slowly, realizing how dry his throat felt. His hands still shook a little, though he tried to hide it. While waiting, Ollie stared out the window at the ocean. He thought about how many mornings he had walked that same stretch of sand. It amazed him that something so serious could hide there unnoticed. He wondered how long the hatch had been buried and who had placed it there. The thought that it was meant to stay hidden troubled him deeply. After some time, Sam returned and told Ollie they were almost done at the site. He asked Ollie if he noticed any strange boats or people in recent days. Ollie thought carefully and mentioned a distant boat he saw 2 nights ago with no clear lights. He could not say if it was connected, but Sam wrote it down anyway. Every small detail seemed important now. Sam explained that the items inside the hatch appeared to be communication tools and stored information. He avoided using heavy terms, but Ollie understood enough to know this was serious. Sam said the location suggested careful planning and knowledge of tides. This was not a random act or a mistake. Someone chose that beach for a reason. Ollie felt a chill despite the growing warmth of the day. He asked if the people who placed the hatch might return. Sam did not answer directly but said the area would be watched closely. He assured Ollie that steps were being taken to protect the town. That helped a little, but Ollie still felt exposed. The agents finished their work and began packing up equipment. The tent was removed, and the hatch was covered again, this time more securely. One agent used sand to blend the surface so it looked untouched. Ollie realized that to anyone else, the beach would look exactly the same. Only he and the agents would know the truth. Before leaving, Sam handed Ollie a card with a number on it. He told Ollie to call if he noticed anything unusual or if anyone asked him strange questions. Sam thanked him again for his cooperation and honesty. Ollie nodded, unsure what to say in response. Gratitude and fear mixed together in his chest. The vehicles drove away one by one, leaving the beach quiet again. Ollie stood alone for a moment, listening to the waves. The morning felt heavier now, as if the air carried secrets. He picked up his fishing net, but did not feel like casting it. His thoughts stayed on the hidden chamber and the careful hands that handled it. Ollie walked home instead of heading out to sea. Along the way, familiar faces greeted him, and he forced small smiles. No one knew what he had seen or what had happened at the beach. That silence felt strange and uncomfortable. He wondered how long he could carry it alone. Home, Ollie washed his hands again and again, as if trying to remove the memory. He sat by the window, watching the light change as the day moved on. His phone stayed close, and every sound made him alert. He knew life would not feel simple for a while. As evening approached, Ollie received a short message from an unknown number. It thanked him for his cooperation and asked him to remain available. The tone was polite but firm. Ollie read it twice and placed the phone down slowly. He looked toward the sea once more, sensing that the story of the hatch was far from over. Ollie did not sleep well that night, and every small sound felt louder than usual. The sea breeze moved the curtains, and his mind kept returning to the hidden hatch. He reminded himself that the agents were watching the area now. Still, the feeling that something unseen was moving nearby would not leave him. Morning arrived slowly, bringing light but not peace. When Ollie stepped outside, the town looked normal, yet it felt different to him. People walked to work, shops opened, and boats left the harbor as always. Ollie noticed a car parked near the road that had not been there before. The driver sat inside, reading a paper, but never looked up. Ollie felt sure he was being watched for safety, not suspicion, yet it made him uneasy. Later that day, Sam called and asked Ollie to meet at a quiet office near the harbor. Ollie agreed and walked there, keeping his pace steady. Inside, the room was simple and clean, with maps pinned to the walls. Sam greeted him politely and offered tea. Ollie accepted, grateful for something warm to hold. Sam explained that more details had been confirmed from the items found in the hatch. The folders contained plans, records, and coded messages linked to a long-term coastal operation. Sam did not share everything, but he explained enough for Ollie to understand the scale. The beach had been used as a quiet storage point, chosen for its calm tides and low traffic. Ollie felt a strange mix of pride and fear knowing his familiar place mattered so much. Ollie asked if the people behind it were close. Sam answered carefully, saying the situation was under control. The agents had traced signals and movements tied to the device Ollie saw. Some parts of the operation reached far beyond the town. That explained why the response had been so fast and quiet. Ollie realized then that his call had likely prevented something serious. Sam also told Ollie that the hatch was not the only one found along the coast. Similar sites had been discovered in other areas, hidden in plain sight. Some were older, some newer, but all were built with care. Ollie felt his stomach tighten, imagining how many secrets the sea had carried without anyone noticing. It made him see the shoreline in a new way. Ollie was asked to describe again the symbol on the hatch. An image was shown to him, and he confirmed it was the same. Sam nodded, satisfied, and said that detail helped connect the case. Ollie felt useful, even though he wished he had never been involved. Still, he knew honesty mattered now more than ever. Before Ollie left, Sam explained what would happen next. The hatch on the beach would be removed at night, quietly and safely. The sand would be restored, and no public report would be made. Life would appear unchanged, and that was important. Ollie was advised to return to his routine slowly and not draw attention. Sam reminded him again to report anything unusual. Ollie walked back home. He felt lighter knowing the hatch would soon be gone. The idea that it would no longer sit beneath the sand brought relief. Yet he also felt a strange sadness, like saying goodbye to a chapter he never meant to open. He wondered how close he came to danger without realizing it. The sea, once comforting, now seemed full of hidden paths. That evening, Ollie stood on the beach at sunset, watching the waves glow orange and gold. He kept his distance from the spot where the hatch had been. The area looked the same as always, and no one nearby suspected a thing. Children played closer to the shore, and a couple walked by laughing softly. The normal sounds helped calm him. As darkness fell, Ollie noticed quiet movement near the beach path. A small team arrived without noise, working under low light. They moved with care and speed, lifting the hatch and sealing the space beneath. Ollie watched from far away, his heart steady this time. He trusted them to finish what they started. By the next morning, the beach showed no sign of disturbance. The sand lay smooth, and the waves erased any trace of work. Ollie walked past the area and felt a deep sense of closure. It was as if the beach itself had taken a long breath. He smiled faintly, knowing the secret was no longer his to carry. Days passed, and Ollie slowly returned to fishing. The rhythm of casting nets and sorting the catch helped him feel grounded. Other fishermen joked and shared stories, unaware of how close something unusual had been. Ollie listened more than he spoke, appreciating the simple talk. He realized how fragile normal life could be. One afternoon, Ollie received a final call from Sam. Sam thanked him again and said the operation linked to the hatch had been fully shut down. The information recovered helped prevent future harm. Ollie felt a quiet pride hearing that. His small action had made a real difference, even if no one else would ever know. Sam told Ollie he could now speak freely about finding a strange object, but advised against details. Ollie agreed and said he preferred to keep it to himself anyway. Some stories were better left untold. Sam wished him well and ended the call. Ollie placed the phone down and looked toward the sea once more. The ocean shimmered under the sun, calm and wide. Ollie knew it still held secrets, but that was its nature. He felt respect rather than fear now. The experience had changed him, making him more aware of the hidden layers of the world. At the same time, it taught him the value of speaking up when something felt wrong. As weeks turned into months, the memory of the hatch faded into the background of Ollie's life. It remained sharp in certain moments, like when metal glinted in the sand or when strange boats appeared on the horizon. Yet it no longer ruled his thoughts. He focused on his work, his home, and the steady comfort of routine. Sometimes at dawn, Ollie paused during his walks and scanned the shoreline. Not out of fear but out of respect. He understood now that ordinary people could stand at the edge of important moments without knowing it. What mattered was how they chose to act. Ollie had chosen honesty and caution, and that choice had protected more than just himself. In the end, the beach returned fully to its quiet ways. Waves rolled in, birds cried overhead, and the sand shifted with every tide. To everyone else, it was just another stretch of coast. To Ollie, it was a reminder that even the most peaceful places could hold deep stories. And sometimes, one careful fisherman was enough to bring those stories safely to light.